You're readied up in the game, wondering which stratagems to bring. Let me show you why the Orbital Napalm Barrage not only brings AoE damage to the field, but also style and utility as well. Let's break this down by enemies, starting with the Terminant. But first, let's get into some background information that'll help you understand and use this stratagem effectively. To start off, the ONP has a call-in time of around 5 to 6 seconds, a barrage duration of 21 seconds, and sustained napalm damage for an additional 10 seconds after the strike. The safe radius is about 50 meters, and notably, the best feature of this barrage is its signature 5-shell burst. However, don't let these animations fool you. The napalm explosions do not have a regular explosive characteristic, and thus will struggle against heavily armored enemies. So let's get back into showcasing the Orbital Napalm Barrage against its most effective targets, the Terminants. The Napalm Barrage does a great job against the majority of the Terminant forces, which includes decimating Stalkers, Pouncers, Spitters, Spewers, Commanders, Hive Guards, and so on and so forth. The real areas that the barrage struggles against is the heavily armored units, as we mentioned earlier, as there seems to be slight armor penetration values when using the Napalm Barrage to direct impact Chargers and Bile Titans, but it doesn't have that power and effectiveness displayed by its counterpart, the Orbital 120 Barrage. As such, the Orbital Napalm Barrage struggles to win against the mobility and defense of these troops. As such, the majority of the barrage is wasted around the target, providing damage over time, and is better utilized when paired with stun grenades or staggering explosives to keep targets under its direct fire. When targeting Terminate structures, this stratagem can be very useful, having the ability to clear both Shrieker nets and Spore blooms. However, it all depends on the accuracy of the barrage to its intended targets. In this regard, I advise throwing the stratagem directly on top of the enemy structure, as when testing I found that even moving the barrage 5 meters can be detrimental to the barrage success rate for clearing healthier targets. However, it's important to note that the stratagem struggled to destroy research station objectives and bug holes, as the modified explosions are not strong enough to damage these structures alone. Moving across the galaxy to the automatons though, to be completely honest, the Orbital Napalm Barrage is not an ideal stratagem to use against these enemies. However, it can take out the majority of small and medium armored troops, including and up to Devastator ranks. Note that the ONB can cripple and kill hulks, with a lucky direct impact kill being possible, but the residual fire damage does not seem to affect the Hulk at all. Otherwise, it'll be more or less useless versus heavily armored units such as tanks, factory striders, bot fabricators, and turrets. So be aware of these enemy types and try to save your stratagem uses for alternative enemy types. Moving on to the objectives, the ONB has the ability to destroy airbase objectives and also broadcast towers, though it will all depend on whether the barrage hits the target or not. However, it cannot kill the anti-air or mortar emplacements or bot fabricators, so just be aware of that. As for some final advice, let's talk about the utility of the Orbital Napalm Barrage. As you know, damage over time is a very effective way to deal with a plethora of enemies without having to waste the limited ammunition or resources found in the game. Due to the ONB having a large damage spread and lengthy sustained damage over time ticks, it not only causes effective damage to enemies stuck inside the barrage, but decreases overall health of fresh enemies walking through it, thus allowing for quick pickup kills. Don't forget that the flames can also brighten the surrounding area to easily identify enemy movement, especially on darker maps. As well as pairing this stratagem with fire resistant armor will allow your character to walk through the lingering flames. But do be aware that the actual shell explosive damage can and will one-shot most allies regardless of their armor type, though one direct impact can be negated with the use of a shield generator. Otherwise, have fun experimenting with this stratagem, and don't forget to use the ONB defensively rather than offensively, as the most value comes from its ability to reduce the total number of troops on the ground rather than using it for overall destructive power, such as initiating a push towards enemy base fights. As always, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or additional information, don't forget to comment them down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed this guide, and subscribe to see content similar to this one. I'm Twilts, and I will see you in the next video.